I still feel nervous every time I press record for this app, but I'm working on it. I tend to write about 5 bullet points and then just try and go off that. So, about the thumbnails. A lot of you mentioned my thumbnails in the last video. I hear you. I appreciate you. And with all due disrespect, I'm choosing to ignore you. And it's nothing personal. In fact, if that sentiment is enough for you to be like, okay, I'm out, thank you for stopping by. We'll always have the memories of that one time that you kind of like the thing I did. But otherwise, I don't have that dog in me. I'm not that guy. And my feelings on thumbnails are the same as my feelings with intros and that. You know, this is not going to be the kind of channel where I say, hey folks, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, smash that bell, whatever, comments down below and all that stuff. Even this, like, I'm not editing out the dead space between sentences. I'm just pressing record and talking. So if that's enough to put you off, so be it. Having said all of that, please do like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I think when I investigate why I feel that way, why I feel such an aversion to doing what feels as though it's become expected on this platform, I think for me, it speaks to what I perceive to be the evolution of this platform and social media in general. Starting with the fact that social media used to be primarily social. It was about connecting with people that you knew in real life, but maybe you didn't see them face to face, so you kept in touch via this. Whereas now, I cannot tell you how much I wince at the thought of anyone who knows me in real life finding me on here. And if you have, you keep that to yourself. No one needs to know that right now. And where did that come from? So that's one side of things. The other side is that I feel as though with this platform, at the start, it was just people. It was folks pressing record and being like, okay, I guess I'm online now, hi, and just talking or whatever. Then, as with all things, people realized there's a way to make money from it. And so the people with money wanted to tap into the people that had braved the embarrassment and found a way to communicate and built an audience around that. And then that method became formalized. And that's why now this space feels less like people talking, and it feels like it started with people, then brands wanted to work with people, and then those people became brands or influencers. Hence the formalized approach of, hi, welcome back to my channel, a certain editing style, a certain thumbnail style, title style. We post videos every week. Just everything about it has started to feel by numbers, to the point where when new people come onto this platform, the stage of just being a person has really managed to shrink to the point where it's pretty much non-existent. As soon as you start posting on here, you see yourself, you treat yourself and whoever's watching like you're already a brand. You straight away, it's with the welcome back to my channel, like and subscribe. Like there's a script that gets handed out. It's as if it's somewhere unwritten. There's a sense of, welcome to YouTube. Before you post your first video, please read this manual. Step 1, make sure you make these types of thumbnails. Step 2, make sure you say these buzzwords, and so on and so forth. And hence the title of this video, I'm just trying to claw back a bit of space, a bit of autonomy, a bit of freedom that just says, no, you can fly in the face of those rules and still do something worthwhile, as long as you don't feel too beholden to the response that you get. And am I starting to lose my train of thought? Quite possibly. That's where the bullet points come in, folks. See? A pro. But not a pro. But I haven't figured this train of thought out completely. So this space is an effort to try and fly in the face of that and prove that there's some worth in doing that. That this platform, social media in general, doesn't have to feel so vacuum sealed and by numbers. Because then it's a bit like how streaming video was supposed to be an alternative to cable. But then people realized there's money to be made, so everyone made a land grab for it. And now whatever joy was there at the start feels like it's been sucked out, and it is becoming a more expensive alternative to cable, but it's leaving you with the same feeling as cable. Because one of the main feelings I'd get from cable is that you've got all these channels, but there's nothing you want to watch. And I'll be honest, that's kind of how I feel about streaming as well. So it's the same with this platform. Maybe it's inevitable of all platforms. I saw someone make a tweet about how when musicians get big, I think they were quoting someone from the band XTC. They said when artists get big and get popular, they start to sound more like the rest of the songs and artists in the top 10 than they do sound like whatever subgenre they came from. Because part of the process of rising to the top in popularity is that you inevitably sand off all of the edges that made you interesting in the first place, and you become indistinguishable from everyone else who's up there. I would like for this to get up there, but I'd like to try and keep the edges, so to speak, in this approach. But I said a lot about what this won't be. Like, I'm not going to do the whole like and subscribe. I'm not doing the editing out all the dead space. I don't even use CapCut for this. I just press record and start. I make some bullet points, press record, start talking. Because any more steps than that will just be more opportunities for me to put this off. And it's already been, 2 weeks or so since the last time I made a video? I'd like to do more than that. So what this is, that's a lot of what this isn't, which is important. It's good to kind of carve out your space by thinking about the things you don't want to include, but also doubling down on what you do want to do, which is to talk to you about ideas. This is like my video equivalent of the Notes app. I'm kind of spread across here and my podcast primarily. My podcast, which is a somewhat daily podcast called Saddest Night Out as well. Link in bio, that's another phrase. Link in bio if you want to listen to that. It's on all streaming services. That's where I might go on about lots of different ideas in one episode, which I try to post daily. YouTube is, each video will be about a particular idea, a particular direction. I can't really see myself doing 30-minute videos. So it might be less about doing super long videos and trying to get the ad breaks in between, and more about making a bunch of shorter videos. Maybe you put it into a playlist, and hopefully each video will feel a bit more worthwhile in that regard, instead of having a lot more dead air than I already have in a longer video. But it's me talking to you, talking with you about ideas. The last video I did had a unexpectedly large response, for me anyway. And I'm very grateful to all of you that took the time to watch it, to subscribe, to leave a comment. On episode 390 of my podcast, I went through a bunch of the comments that were there, I think the day after I posted the video. So if you want to hear me talk more about the response to that, it's episode 390 of the Saddest Night Out podcast. But yeah, it's talking to you and with you about ideas I have, primarily when it comes to music, because I do make music, and low-key, just between us, there is a long-term goal. I'm working towards the goal of headlining Reading Festival in 2024, in particular replacing Catfish and the Bottlemen, because I don't think they're going to make it through to the festival, and it's about time that festival had another backup band instead of the 1975 for the 20th time, but that's not important. What's important is, for this to work, it's going to take both of us. I need to show up, but it's a lot easier for me to show up when I know that you show up, and then when you show up, I show up, and then that cycle hopefully just keeps going. There's this idea I have that if you're swimming against the tide, you have to swim harder to make the same distance, which is to say, if what I'm doing goes against the algorithm, as quite a few of you pointed out in that last video about how, yes, it's one thing to have the same thumbnail in every video, but you have to know the algorithm. That's not going to help you algorithm-wise doing that. So if what you're doing goes against the tide, you have to swim harder to make the same distance. If what I'm doing goes against the algorithm, then I need you to be my algorithm. It's weird. I can't escape the sentiment of I'm not like the other YouTubers. I'm not like the other girls, because I'm not, and I very much am, because I'm trying to harken back to what I think of as a simpler, freer time of this platform and just the internet in general. Back before we all pretty much relied on the same 5 websites and just cycled through them. Back when things felt a little bit wilder, a little bit freer, a little bit more optimistic. That's what I'm trying to tap into. And I hope to, in the long term, juxtapose that with some pretty ambitious ideas, because I don't know if that's really been done before. If it has, I'd like to try it and see what it looks like. To have someone who goes on to work towards really big things in the public space, but then has this very personal seeming space with people that are interested. Like, imagine if you take, I don't know, whoever was your #1 artist on Spotify Wrapped, what if they did something like this, something this direct and this regular? Hopefully this will be more regular. That's what I'm trying to work towards long term. So if you want to passively consume this, like the rest of YouTube, to be honest, there's a good chance just from the thumbnails alone that you've already felt put off, or you won't come across this, because this doesn't fall into the usual that YouTube likes to offer up. I think all of the things I tend to do here will signal to YouTube that, oh, this doesn't seem like the type of video that will do well, so there's no need to spread it too much. Although I was really pleasantly surprised by how much my Lonely video, how many of you left a comment saying this was in my recommended. I did not expect that at all. But since I'm not expecting that, I will essentially lean that much more on you folks who stuck around all these 10 minutes to be my algorithm instead. Because I'm not playing by, quote unquote, I'm not playing by YouTube's rules. So by default, I'm not expecting YouTube to give me that leg up. But if we have that conversation, if we make it seem like something's happening here, that can kind of be a substitute for just hoping the algorithm will pick you up. I think I am by no means an expert on the mechanisms and inner workings of YouTube. So all of this is just conjecture, but that's what this is. That's why I'm presenting it in this way. I'm not trying to come across as an authority. This is my notes app. This is me thinking, but what if you do this? What if X and Y can actually equal C instead of Z? I always keep losing track of my bullet points, and I skip the order of them as well, but hopefully what I'm saying still makes sense. So if you are still here, that means you appreciate that this is a little bit different, which means I need you to understand that I forgot to take my phone case off of my phone, so there's a good chance the audio for this entire thing has been really muffled. Will I re-record it? I don't know. I guess I might as well keep going. Man, that's a punch in the gut. If you're still here, that means you appreciate that this is a little different, which means I need you to understand that I don't want you to just be passive here. You can be if you want to. If you like your entertainment on here passive and you don't mind the thumbnail being the same all the time, take a seat, make yourself comfortable. I'm surprised, but I am grateful. But if you are taking a bit more of an interest because this seems a bit different from what you're used to on this platform, then if you like what you see, let it be known. Come get involved, because that's the only way this thing can the engine I mentioned can continue. I try to show up. When I show up, you show up. When I see you show up, I show up, and we just kind of keep cheering each other on in that way. And like I said, a lot of you did that for my last video about feeling lonely on here. In fact, I got a bit overwhelmed, and that's why it took so long to come back, but I'm trying to work against that. Like I said at the start of this video, it's such a simple thing to just press record and go, but it can feel like climbing a mountain. And I don't even do edits and stuff like most folks do. I'm not spending goodness knows how many hours on CapCut or Adobe Premiere. I don't even use any device other than my phone for these. And yet still I can manage to spend 2 weeks without posting. I'm really going to try and work on that and try to record another video right after this one. If I don't have to re-record this one because of the audio, I really hope I don't. And yeah, again, if you listen to episode 390 of my podcast, link in the bio, it's just called Saddest Night Out, all is one word. You'll find me reading out a bunch of your comments from that Lonely video. I think here I'll more likely talk about particular ideas in each video. I'll more likely respond to comments in the podcast, as well as just talking about a bunch of ideas. I haven't really gone live on TikTok or posted on TikTok in a while, but I need to figure that out. Twitter, Instagram, stay tuned. We'll see what happens there. But for now, I think I'm done with this video. This is longer than I thought it would be, and I really hope I don't have to record it because of the audio. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Tap the bell as well. we joke around here. There's room for humor. Thanks for watching. The white shirts are still here, by the way. If you're one of the OGs, if you know, you know. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.